Hello and welcome to Database Management Systems. I'm Jivita Christie, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create an ER diagram using this schema diagram of an employee's database. So let's begin. This is the diagram of employees. It's a database created, a very small one. It contains 4 tables. One table is called employees, the second table is works on, the third table is projects, and then we have departments. So what this schema diagram shows is that there are 4 tables and they are connected with each other by relation of primary key and foreign key. So wherever you see a key sign like this one, that means it's a primary key. Wherever you see a key followed by FK, it means it is a foreign key. And some places you can see 2 keys, like here, that means project ID and employee ID both together are forming a primary key. So this is the database, and first I'm going to explain to you what each and every table here means. So let's begin with the employees table. The employees table contains 5 columns: employee ID, first name, last name, debt code, and the salary given to all the employees. And here the primary key is employee ID, and the department code, that is the debt code, is a foreign key that is borrowed from the departments table. So you can see this line, this arrow that is going out from here to the departments table. And this database is very important because later on in the SQL videos, this is the one that I'm going to use for all SQL practicals. Now, this debt code that you see is borrowed from the code of department. So there's a relation between employees and departments, and it is that some employee is going to belong to some or the other department. And so let's take a look at the departments table. This table contains code, which is the primary key, and it contains name of the department. It also contains manager ID, which is a foreign key borrowed from employees. That means each department is having a manager, and that manager is obviously an employee, and that's why the record of that manager is also present in the employees relation. And we are borrowing that ID of the employee, who is the manager of that particular department, in the departments table. And also we have another column called sub debt of, which tells you if one department is a sub-department of some other department. For example, you might have an admin department, and there could be an accounting department that could be the sub-department of the admin department. So in that case, wherever you are storing the data about accounting department, you are going to write the code of admin department as the department that contains accounting. So that's what the departments table is about. It contains 2 foreign keys. One is borrowed from employees and one is borrowed from departments itself. Then we have the projects table. The projects table contains these attributes. One of them is project ID, which is the primary key. And there is a debt code, once again, like employees, which shows you that this project belongs to this particular department. And this is borrowed from departments. The code which is present in departments is borrowed in projects and renamed as debt code. Next, we have description of the project. We are given the start date of the project, which tells us at which date the project was started, and there's end date. So if the project has ended, then on which date it ended, and the revenue generated by the project. So the profit brought in by the project is given here in this column. And then finally, we have the works on table. The works on table contains three columns: project ID, employee ID, and assigned time. The project ID and employee ID together, they form a combination which is unique, and that's why together they form the primary key. And both are actually borrowed from somewhere. Project ID is borrowed from the project ID of projects table, and employee ID is borrowed from the employee ID of employees table. And assigned time tells you how much time is assigned to that employee on that project. So this is the schema, and we call this diagram a schema diagram. In most cases, when you're asked to make an ER diagram, you are probably given um, a description through words, and you're not given a description in this manner. You are just given a written description, not a drawn one. But I'm going to use this one because it's easier to look at this and draw a diagram. But if you have to make a diagram from just a written description, then also you can do it, because when it comes to ER diagrams, there is no single correct answer. There are several correct answers, and it depends on how you imagine things to be. So I'm going to make an ER diagram in a tool called Draw.io. So all you need to do is go to your taskbar, go to your search bar here and type Draw.io and hit enter. And it will open, and you need to click on create new diagram unless you already have an existing diagram that you would like to edit. So we are going to create a new diagram here, and you can name it whatever you like. I'm going to name it ER, or let's just name it employees database. And also at the same time, you can see here, you can select one of these formats. You can convert it to an HTML, XML file if you like. I just want to save it as a PNG file. So I'm selecting PNG. And that's it. You can just click on create at this point. Once you do that, you can see that there is a blank area available to you. This is the blank area that is available to you, and you are going to use this area to do all your drawings. So let's begin by drawing this. First, before we draw this, let's try to understand what this actually does, what all the options here do. So here I'll just show you what it is. Here you have all the menus and you can use them. On the left hand side there is a panel, and this panel contains all the symbols that you would require. There's a scratch pad also. There are some general symbols which also we are going to use. And there are some miscellaneous symbols we are not going to use much from here. Mostly we are going to use the entity relation symbols given here, because these are the ones that are most important for us. So we are going to use these entity relation symbols given here. And there are other symbols. So this is a tool that can be used not just for ER diagrams, it can be used to make any type of UML diagram. And whenever you want to create projects and add a diagram, this is a very good tool for that. So we are going to use this to create an ER diagram for the database that I showed you earlier. This is the database. And we are going to start with the employees table, which is present here. And here we need to add employee ID, first name, last name, debt code, and salary. However, debt code does not need to be added, because debt code is just a foreign key that is borrowed from somewhere. So whenever we create a relation between employees and departments, that will just take care of itself. So we don't really need to add depth code in employees. We'll just be adding employee ID for first name, last name, and salary. So let us see. Let's draw that and add that. So once there is an ellipse available, for entities, we use this type of a rectangle, and for attributes, we use ellipses, which are given here. So let's use a rectangle. Once you click on it, it gets inserted right here. I'm going to reduce the size of this now. So as you can see, it is inserted, and now I can place it wherever I want. But the placement is very important. You need to know where exactly you want to place things, because employees is going to be connected with works on and departments, both. So you want to place it in such a way that it can connect to both. So I'm going to place it right on top, here in the middle on top, like this. And inside of it, I'm going to write down employees. You can, of course, increase or decrease the size of it if you like from here. Let's make it 18. So this is employees. You can increase or decrease the size of the rectangle also, like this. I have reduced its size, and I'm going to bring employees a little bit downward, since I need to add its attributes. So the first attribute we are adding is employee ID. And once again, we are going to go through these symbols present here, and we are going to pick an ellipse because that's the one we require. But if you will notice, in the entity relation part, you can find a key attribute symbol, which comes with an underline. So I'm going to use that one, and going to write over there employee ID, and this works better for me since it comes with an underline. Otherwise, I would have to underline it. So once this is ready, I'm going to place it wherever I want. Then I have the first name and last name, both of which are simple attributes. So first name, just start typing. You don't have to do anything for that. So the first name, let's drag it and put it here. And similarly, another attribute, and let's make it last name and drag it and put it here. And the next attribute I need to add is salary, because I already told you depth code is not required. So we'll put salary and drag it and put it here. Now what you can see is 4 attributes which belong to employees, but which we have not connected with employees. So we are going to connect them now, and you can see you can do that like this with a line that is given here. You can pick this line, it doesn't matter, and let's connect it. So you can touch this line here and then touch it to employee. And in a similar way, you can do Control C, Control V, get another line, touch it on, say, first name, like this. You can see that green symbol actually helps you. It tells you that it has touched. So drag and drop once again on employees, and Control C, Control V. This time I'm going to attach this line to last name and drag and drop and place it on employees. And again, Control C, Control V. We are going to drag and drop this, attach it to salary right here, and then attach it to employees. So that's what we need to do. All the 4 attributes are attached to the employees database. And for now, I'm going to keep it limited to this. I'm going to finish the rest of the diagram in the next video. So stay tuned for that. And thank you for watching.